warframe, there are many weapons that I would like to call underrated. This is due to many not really understand nor grasp the hidden power that comes with it, and one of them are sword and shield melees. This subcategory has a lot of sleeper picks or fun picks, for example, Tug and Lug with its heavy attack shield throw. It's a very fun melee to toy around, though as you can tell with the video title, this isn't about Tug and Lug, but rather Silva and Aegis. Silva and Aegis Prime came along with Oberon Prime with a massively improved stats. Its crit and status stats are way better with an astronomical base damage increase from 98 to 318, though with a huge cut in its base attack speed, possibly the lowest in this game. This is also one of the only few melees in this game that has one innate element, which does open up some modding choices. It also had a unique trait where you can gain a small bit of crit and status chance for each hit's block, total to 60% max, additive to their respective category. If you were to assume that this is used for some hack and slash, this build is probably what you are asking for. Melee retaliation for base damage instead of CO because of low unique status count. And I picked Final Harbinger over 11th Storm because the former is smoother, much faster and deals more damage. Also, can I show my appreciation on just how cool this move really was? Anyways, I do have arcane expertise equipped on Rhino, which does allow me to have 390% melee damage permanently unless my shields drop, and with that, that's pretty much for the melee itself. On its own, it can kill decently well, no melee influence, no melee afflictions, just the raw melee itself. It is definitely not the best melee known in this game, but it is still pretty good and worth trying out. But if you have some buffs going on, it can absolutely turn the tide around. Now it is pretty much shredding enemies on sight, with hit ticks into the few millions without trying. To ensure that you have a very enjoyable experience, it is advised to utilize the first move of the aim moving attack, aka the cool spin to get close effectively. If aimed well with the strike, it can even headshot an enemy, which is not something you can scoff at. Overall, Silva and Aegis Prime is a very fun melee to play around. You could also try out melee vortex and mod magnetic rush, or some corrosive hit melee through melee exposure. The choices is up to you. And yeah, that's all I had to say for now. Well, I only said that I'm pretty much done. There's the elephant in the room that I am yet to address. Have you heard of Avenging Truth? Avenging Truth is an augment mod that you can only buy it from the syndicates, precisely from Arbiter of Hexes once you reach rank 4. And this is where Silva and Aegis' real power hides. As the description suggests, blocking will absorb 50% of the incoming damage, and releases all the absorbed damage as you heavy attack. Doesn't seem that impressive, right? But if you understand the real meaning behind, this is easily the most game-breaking augment in this game, and none is even close to what it is really capable of. Let me explain. In Warframe, there are a few sources of turning enemy damage into your damage. For example, Iron Skin's augment, Iron Shrapnel, Mallet from Octavia, Absorb from Nyx, and so on. Powers like such shares a common idea. They are all abilities. As for Avenging Truth, it is the only weapon augment in this game that scales its damage potential with enemy damage. And you know where the scaling places itself at? You would think it will be put last, but no. It is placed very early into the damage calculation, or precisely after direct damage mods and before elemental mods. Here is Avenging Truth without any mods, absorbing a hit from a level 185 Corrupted Butcher, and lands a heavy attack on an overguarded unit. With 100% melee damage increase, this is how much damage I deal. How about an additional 150% elemental damage as well? Anyways, here's the math. This also means that it can scale with other important sources of damage increase, such as crit chance and crit damage, combo multiplier, and the ability to proc any status you feel like today. Especially when you have Rifle Advance, it is basically free damage, and if combo count is a concern, Rauta is all you need. Though while you are doing this on Rhino, wouldn't Kulavo be a much fitting pick for weapons like this? Well, it's because of the risk that it comes with. Due to you needing enemies to shoot at you, at levels where standing still is a death sentence, Kulavo and many other frames cannot afford to do that without Vazarin's protective sling being ready at all times, though the case is completely different for Rhino. Since the time when Overguard finally allows blocking, you can basically do the entire setup comfortably. Avenging Truth also fits itself perfectly into the usual Rhino gameplay. Both interacts with enemy damage all the time. More damage isn't a concern because it already scales to no end, so being comfortable with the setup is infinitely more important than just more damage. And yeah, that's all for Silva and Aegis Prime. This is easily the strongest melee when it comes to raw damage numbers. But how does it look like against Demoliths? Well, before I start the showcase, this is my build for Rhino. Arcane expertise is utilized, so that melee retaliation can be max. Even though base damage doesn't matter as much, it is still a small bit of damage increase. Shot wise, this is what I go with. Rauta is only here to help me stack combo count up to 12 times, with Adamos Incarnate as my main form of wave clearing and Acolyte Killer with its incarnate form. And lastly, Silva and Aegis. Just remember that you have Avenging Truth modded, and yeah, pet wise, it's just there for the energy economy, with my Sentinel weapon modded past 50% crit chance to allow Tenacious Bond to work.